Make an argument for rural. I'll tell you my argument against rural. My argument against rural is super long cash conversion cycles. Okay.
Oh, can we define what rural is?
Rural, I would define rural as like population of like less than 100,000. Okay. My favorite is to be doing reps in like 500K plus markets because I know I can sell it same day. And I'm all about like ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. I'm also all about premium marketing. So Google ads, spending money on Ferrari leads. So I might be paying $300, $400, $500 a lead. So I got really high cost per deal, which means, and I like to have big deals. I like to have my guys paid well on their commissions. So I want to be making like $35,000 to $50,000 on a deal. So on rural, typically it takes a long time to sell. A lot more issues around like title and judgments and things like that that drive high contract fall rate, even if you do everything else perfectly. But then ultimately, the assignment fees are just typically pretty low because as you go rural, it's like smaller price points. And so like, you know, it's like a $5,000, $10,000 rep, and instead I can be in Los Angeles doing $50,000 rep.
Okay. So there can only be so many people that go into Los Angeles.
Yes.
Right. There can only be so many people that go into DC.
Yeah.
Right. So to combat what you just said, most people cannot afford $300 to $500 per lead.
Yeah, when you're first getting started, start in smaller markets. So I agree with that.
So that right there is argument number one, right?
Yeah.
I can go to a PPL provider and I can spend anywhere between $29 to $55 to generate a lead in a rural area. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so my cost per lead is a lot lower. My cost per contract is a lot lower. And then on the disposition side, when I have a tool like Investor Lift, I can actually move the deal and I can be a solution for an end buyer that almost no one else is trying to even market to.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. If you're willing to do this, can you create a course for how to dispo in real markets?
Yeah, it's called titaniumvault.com.
Okay,
look at this guy.
Titanium.
He's got a song coming out about
Titanium
it.
U?
Should be your next song.
Just
U, like
just
university.
U. Okay, we're gonna link to that.
Sorry, say it again. I interrupted.
Titanium U.
Because
Titanium University.
I know it's possible. Remember when people were all naysaying on you on the Closest Olympics? He signed up a deal in Lubbock, Texas. Everyone said, "Hey, you signed this up way too high. It's not a deal. It's not a deal." I call up RJ. I'm like, you know what? Or someone in the comments, I think Naaman Taylor was like, "It is if you post it on Investor Lift, right?" And then so just to prove everyone wrong, we jumped on a live. We did it live, and we took that deal and we sold it in Lubbock, Texas. Population of, I don't know, 20,000 or something. It took 3 hours to do, but and it wasn't a big assignment fee. It was like $5,000, $10,000.
But money was made.
If you're a 19-year-old wholesaler making $5,000 in 3 hours, not bad.
Hold on, but here's the thing that no one thinks about:
what?
The next 4 deals I've sold to Austin. Okay,
I met him. Did you know I met him?
Yeah, at Investor Fuel.
Yeah.
So when we do a deal in a rural tertiary market, it's what I'm saying. Okay, it's not about the first deal.
You got the buyer.
I'm not going to sell you one. I'm going to sell you 100.
Okay, I like that.
So people don't want to eat shit on the first deal.
Yeah,
they want to make that 30 grand rip. Okay, I want to make $300,000 with that buyer.
Okay,
that's the difference.
I love the same mentality. When someone calls me up, I said, I don't care about a deal. I care about the future of our deals.
Yes.
Super important.
Dude, if I met him and I'm a wholesaler in his market, I am not sending my deal out to anyone else. I am sending it directly to him. Because I know exactly what he's going to do. I'll be there in an hour and I'll tell you exactly. You are the case study of what I tell everyone. They always say, how do you get pictures? How do you dispo deals? How do you do the recon in a market that you don't have any boots on the ground? Find him.
Yeah.
First person, when I lock up a deal, I ask the seller, can you send me pictures? I cannot. I live an hour away. I can't be there for a week. Okay, got it. Call you. Hey, first right of refusal. You go out, want the property. If you don't want it, the only thing I ask for, tell me what you would buy it for.
Of course. Any guarantee.
And send me some photos.
And send me pictures.
Yep. Love it.
Okay.
Happy to do it.
So you go out there, exactly. You want that every single time.
First mover advantage. Give me a look
this.
at everything, and I'm going to give you a guaranteed number. It may not give you the full of everything that you want, and hopefully I will. By the way, I always want to pay the most because I always want that first opportunity.
The next time I get a lead, in your market, if I don't know where it should be, I say, hey,
where do I need to be to reverse engineer your price?
41st Street, where do you want this?
Exactly.
And you're going to be like, east or west?
Correct.
I'm going to be like, east. And you're going to be like, ooh.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good. The smart gate.
Yeah. And then I go lock it up, and then you go look at it. And now we're in a pseudo partnership.
Correct.
And he's getting exactly what he needs. Now, we're talking about his market is here in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
This happens everywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
We've got a buyer that essentially owns East Tennessee. I could call him about Chattanooga, Knoxville, up in the rural. You're talking about rural. I mean, we're talking about he wants to buy this mobile home on 10 acres.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We call him up and he's like, man, if you can get that for me for 50 grand,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because this is what my exit strategy is. So now I'm writing down and I'm notating this is what his business is. This is how you build the ability to do nationwide over the course of time. Where now I don't know the buyers.
Yeah.
My team does. My system does.
Yeah.
So we get, dude, our right now, we have 31 properties under contract. Okay. We have 3 guys at the office that are doing acquisitions and dispositions and a TC. Okay. That is a 21-year-old and 2 22-year-olds.
You're lean.
That is who is on the phone doing acquisitions and dispositions. Justin has been with us for 3 years, and he literally has done deals in 35 different states at this point. Okay?
Yeah.
He has buyers everywhere. So as leads come in, he's cherry picking which leads he wants to call based off of where his buyers are.
But the other thing that you didn't talk about, which is so important, which is speed. So it's like you have a limited time. That lead comes in, you want to cook that food when the fire is hot at the fastest time. So when you've already solidified that relationship, when you call me, it says 911 RJ, and it's like, I don't care what I'm doing. That is the hottest number. So you've created something so important. It's the 911 call. Emergency. Yeah. What do you got? I need a price on this one because I'm locking it up in 2 minutes. I got you. I'm dropping what I'm doing. I'm responding. Now we have an amazing win-win joint venture effectively going. So you have that fire response, that 911 call to the top buyer in every state or every city. You're golden.
Yes.
I love that.
And here's the thing. It's hilarious because people ask me, how do you dispo these deals everywhere? And I'm like, investor lift. But it's not because I'm putting it on investor lift and blasting it out and the email or the text is selling it. It's like, no, if I sell a deal right now in Lubbock, Texas to Austin Hughes, how did I sell that deal? Investor lift?
You found him on investor lift.
Right. But I don't put it on investor lift. I get a deal under contract right now in Lubbock. I'm just calling Austin Hughes.
Just call Austin. The lead comes in, hey, Austin, I got another one for you.
Hey, I got another one, and he says, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
Okay, now the counter argument here, though, is you might be leaving money on the table because, if you don't blast it, blasting a deal is going to get you another 5, 10, 15,000.
I don't care.
You don't care. It's just volume game.
I don't care.
What do you think your average assignment fee is right now?
15.
15. So you're just like, hey, 15. Okay, but it's you have a low cost. What's your cost per deal?
Dude. Okay, lead Zolo, 1 out of 7 and a
1 out of 7 you're closing on lead Zolo. Holy moly.
Property leads, okay, $55 a lead. I close 1 out of 10 on the first dial.
Holy moly.
No follow-up.
It's insane.
So cost per deal is like $500.
That's insane. Maybe even less. Here's what I love too, which is important. With these strategic relationships, when someone calls me, Zarek, I got a deal in Flagstaff. They know that I may not buy in Flagstaff, but I know who's buying in Flagstaff. So you're going to leverage that 911 call. Hey man, do me a favor. Can you sell this? I'm not a dispo guy, whatever. I'll put it on investment, whatever. But I also have those buyers have the resources. Those top buyers have the resources in their jurisdiction. You call them. I know it's not right for you, but I know you know who's going to buy that. If you sell it, I said, I don't want anything. I value the relationship so much. I'll help you sell it for free.
Right.
I know Robert Wensley. One call, Rob. Who's the topper over here?
Yeah.
Boom, connect, done. So leverage those relationships. We talk about maximizing the pulp of opportunity. You're not maximizing the pulp because you're presenting that person, which gives them even stronger market credibility by being the forefront in the connector of opportunities.
Facts. And listen, on your blasting it on investor lift, so I'm not a bidded up
No.
dispo person.
You're take it or leave it.
Which I respect. I hate when people play the games. Me like, hey, what's your max? Here's my number. If it's good, it's good. If not, I'm not going to like, I'm 500 over anything. I'm not playing some more. I'm getting the first opportunity. Let's do the deal. Shake. Let's focus on the next leads that are coming because you're closing at a 13% ratio.
This is the guy I want right here. And that's why I'm not a bid it up kind of guy.
You just need a Zachary Keeps in each city.
Dude, I want him happy.
Yeah.
I want you really happy too because I respect and value the person who's bringing me the deals. That's my livelihood. That's my lifeblood.
You're my livelihood.
And that's why we work well together.
The person that I want to look back at their year and go, what made our year so great? Well, dude, we bought 20 deals from Titanium.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, they're legit. They're like a legitimate lead generating source for my landlord business, for my flipping business.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to look back at that and say, I respect them. Like, I will do anything for them when we call. And that is why when we get deals in Southern Maine, in Montana, like we have a buyer in Montana that it does not matter where it is in the state. We call him the next day, he will drive to it. He has driven 7.5, 4 hours to go to that. And then you go look and it's like, how have you guys done deals in Montana? We did one and establish a relationship, and then we keep going back to the well.
Wow.
And saying, hey, Steve, what about this? Yeah.
Because those people are resourceful. It's not random that they're successful. They're successful because they have amazing relationships with people. They're going to find the agent up there that has an end buyer. They're going to go through all those extra steps to get that deal done.
But here's the other thing. In those locations, their phone is not ringing every single day like yours is.
Yeah.
So when we call, it's not a 911 call. It's a wipe the dust off the phone.
Wow.
Like, whoa, the phone's ringing.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Right.
You got a deal?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything going on.
Like Delta Airlines, I need a flight to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, sometimes we'll talk to them and it's like, things have been slow. It's like, I mean, dude, there's sometimes you can go on Investor Lift and look at certain states, and it's like there's less than 5 deals in that state.
Yeah, Montana's tough.
New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
Dude, every time we do a deal in New Hampshire, we have to explain what wholesaling is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, it's like they don't know. And so when you actually make that relationship with buyers, it makes a huge difference to their lives. Yeah. Like you said, that's your livelihood.
It is.
Imagine if you didn't have any wholesalers, realtors, or anybody calling you, and you didn't know what direct-to-seller marketing was. But you're a landlord. Like you're the only way you're picking up deals is off the MLS because you don't know any better.
I'd be driving it. I would be resourceful. I would knock.
You would be.
We would do it. Like,
but that's how you end up with how many deals you've done. I mean, you said 4,000. It's incredible. Most people, they sit back and they go, I just wait on some deals to show up.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no way. Like you, I'm proactive, not reactive.
Right.
Right. We get up, we're hungry, want to fish and eat.
Exactly.
Keep eating.
Okay, I love this. Okay, I'm always open to learning new things.
And that's why you're successful.
I've been shitting on rural markets for a very long time, but this is very interesting.